Recording. All right. Hi, everybody. This is our week two nutrition call. And so the post today was a catch up post. And it was basically like, if you haven't caught up with the videos, go ahead and catch up. And I wanted to bring personal development into what we're doing because it's so important and it's changed my life. And it basically changes everybody's life when you find something that speaks to you. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about is I was reading through some of the comments, and I know a lot of people kind of had started making comments and had been talking about like emotional eating and boredom eating. I think Carrie, asked that maybe we could cover this on a call. So I thought we'd also touch on that as well tonight. Personal development. What is everybody reading?
Do you want to go first, Jody?
What am I reading right now? I'm reading a couple different books. I'm reading the Book of Coaching.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And I don't think I've picked up a book in a couple of weeks now just because I've been gone, other than that one. So
I think you'd also, I know you commented that you were interested in The Gifts of Imperfection, which is amazing. That's by Brené Brown. And I listened to it on audiobook. This one isn't read by her, but the woman who reads it is still really, really good. And there are some really amazing takeaways in there just about like, a lot of it is just like recognizing that nobody is perfect. And when you try and fit yourself into a mold of who you think you should be to be liked, you become very unhappy because you're not being true to yourself. And it's just about authenticity in your own life and recognizing what makes you you. And some of the things that go into authenticity are things like connection and like, I think she calls it wholehearted living, where you basically don't give a flip about what anybody thinks about you, which is like what we all strive to do. It's an amazing book. I love it. And I love Brené Brown because like she's hard to listen to because like she just gets you. And then you're like, okay, like, so I'll listen to her for like a couple days and then I'll have to take a break and like let everything process and then I can come back. I love her though. She's great.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I have a credit on my Audible, so I'm for sure getting that.
It's a good one. The other one I want to read by her is Braving the Wilderness. I think it's Braving the Wild, I think is what it's called.
I think I own that and started it and couldn't get into it. And so that's one I'll pick up later.
I do that all the time. I have so many like partially read books. I'm in the middle of several. So I just finished 100 Days to Brave yesterday, which is a wonderful devotional.
I'm going to get that. That sounds good.
It's really good. It's really good. And so I started, is it Audacious Prayers, the one that you're reading?
Right here. This one, you guys, this is amazing.
Yes, I just started that today. And I'm reading Build to Last, but I think I'm going to get it on Audible. I think I just need to hear it all the time. So I'm going to do that. And then I'm in the middle of some other like Christian books for small groups and things like that.
That's wonderful. So the books that I'd listed, let me pull up our app here. All right, the books that I'd kind of recommended for people, and I don't know if you guys have listened to any of these or read them. So The 5-Second Rule by Mel Robbins, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's like, for people who are going to catch this later, that's basically like how to overcome your own stumbling blocks to like achieving what you want to achieve, kind of in a nutshell. And she goes into like all these different strategies and I love, so I told my mom about it and she got it from the library. She said it was very hard to read because it's a busy book and like Mel Robbins puts in all these sidebars and there's like all these like font, like type format is different where she emphasizes things, but I loved listening to it because Mel Robbins reads it and she's great. And I feel like she just like adds this extra level into it. And especially at the end, she tells some stories that like she ends up getting really emotional over, and that it just really adds another layer to that book, which is great. Grit by Angela Duckworth is a really good book. It's kind of sciencey, and it's about what sets people apart who are like people who like basically are really high achievers, what makes them like stick and stay basically. And there's like some science behind what is like grittiness in people that makes them just be really, really dedicated and consistent, which are all things that I would like to develop more of in myself. The Happiness Advantage is phenomenal. Sean Achor is the author of that one. Kelly and I watched him speak 2 years ago at Beachbody Summit, and he talks about people who like he's a psychologist, but he doesn't study unhappy people. He studies the people who are happier than most people and what makes them that way, and then talks about how the rest of us can apply that to our lives. So I love that. The Gifts of Imperfection, we talked about that. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero, which is great. I mean, that's kind of like, that's what got me into personal development. And she just basically just like speaks life into you and tells you like what an amazing person you are and gives you tools to just be awesome. So I love that one. And then another really good one is The Energy Bus by John Gordon. Mm-hmm. And it's a good one to listen to. He reads that. Actually, I think all of the ones that I listed in the app besides The Gifts of Imperfection are all read by the author. But The Energy Bus is good. It's a short listen, it's a short read, and it's basically, it's in the form of like a story, and it's about this guy who, like his car breaks down and he has all this crap happening in his life, and he ends up having to ride the bus to work, and he gets on this bus, and the bus driver's name is Joy, and she basically has this little like tribe of people who ride her bus every day, and they all talk about like your energy and like how the energy that you put out into the world is what you get back. And they kind of like all teach this guy how to like basically like save his job, save his marriage, like all in the course of a couple of days. It's a good book, and it's written in kind of a story format. And the author, there's another good one by the author called The Carpenter, which is also really good. And it's kind of in that same sort of story format. So those are the ones that I'd recommended. You guys have any that you want to add? I mean, also Rachel Hollis is amazing. Girl, Wash Your Face. Always amazing.
Trying to think about what I've read recently.
Let me see what else is new in my Audible thingy library.
A lot of my stuff within the last year is like all specifically like Christian based.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I have another good one. Super Life is kind of a nutrition one. I have 2 nutrition ones that I can recommend. One is called Super Life, the 5 forces that will make you healthy, fit, and eternally awesome. And that's by Darren O'Lean, who actually is the co-creator of Shakeology. Really, really good. A ton of phenomenal nutrition information. And it's basically going to make you want to just like go whole hog on your nutrition in a good way. And the other one is I almost hesitate recommending this one. It's a good one. It's called Eat to Live. And it's by a doctor named Joel Fuhrman. And it's basically it's more like sciencey stuff, but it's all about like how nutrition affects people's bodies. And it's kind of designed as a book for people who are like really, really clinically obese, who do need to lose weight and who want to do it with nutrition only. So if you listen to that book, know that that's what it's about. And he gives a lot of good information, which a lot of it is applicable to what we do, but a lot of it is also kind of more on the extreme end. But then he goes, at the second part of the book, he talks about like all the research behind it and why, a mostly plant-based diet, which is what the Portion Fix is, better for our bodies, and how, and the science, and like how disease is reduced by eating that way. It's good, but I'd skip it. Unless you're really, really into reading about nutrition.
Yeah.
That's what but Super Life is an awesome one. Okay, well, so the other thing that I know Carrie wanted to talk about was emotional eating and boredom, because I know we had a post yesterday about that, and boredom eating, and it's a big one, because I know for me, I'm an emotional eater. I think probably everybody is to some extent. I'm a social eater. I love to like eat with other people around, and boredom eating, I definitely do that. Maybe we can just share some tips about like what we've learned, like from the program, from doing the containers for so long, what tools we use for ourselves. Kelly, you want to start?
Sure. For me, the thing that helps the most is when I set clear boundaries that I follow every single day, and that's just part of my life. And then that cuts out some of the extra. So whether I was, doing, time nutrition or not, or, one principle that I took from To Be Mindset that I still apply to Ultimate Portion Fix is dinner and done. My boundary is I don't eat after 6 o'clock. And so for me, that helps me when I get in that mode where I feel like I want something. It's just this hard and fast rule that I have. And is it absolutely perfect? No, but it's pretty darn close. Where if I'm bored, if I'm antsy, if I want something, I am not likely to go for anything with a calorie in it if it's after 6 o'clock. So boundaries are really important for me. And then also, with the time nutrition, one thing that helped me with was I think about food all day, every day. I am constantly thinking about like, what's my next meal and what am I going to eat and what do I want to have? It's just part of my brain. But if I know that my next meal is at a certain time and it's these 2 containers and it has to fit in, that helps me a lot. As far as like the boredom eating, and even with the emotional eating, I mean, again, it's not foolproof or perfect, but those things have always helped me a lot. Just having those boundaries.
Yeah, that's good. Those help me as well. I'm not as good with dinner and done, but like actually one thing that does help me with dinner and done is drinking Recharge at night. Because if I worked out that day, I know that if I feel like I need something, I can have a Recharge, which is one of the Beachbody Performance line. And what it is it's a shake that I just shake it up with water, and you drink it within an hour of going to bed. And it's got some ingredients in it that are going to help reduce inflammation in your body. You wake up less sore, and it helps your body heal overnight. And it's considered a freebie on the nutrition plan if you're doing a workout program. If you're not doing a workout program, it's not a freebie. But it helped me because I'm like, oh, I can have that, and it's a little bit sweet, and I know it. It's fueling my body. It's fuel, not like a treat. And
it's heavy enough that when you have it, you don't want anything else after that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and it's good. It's like a vanilla. It's good. I like it a lot, actually. I'm thinking about having one tonight. Jody, what are your what tips, what tools do you use to help you with like emotional and boredom eating?
Well, I guess my biggest struggle the last couple weeks, I was doing pretty well until I've been gone and out of my element, and I'm on a completely different schedule here, a different time zone, and so if I start getting hungry at night, I know that I just need to go to bed. It's like one of those things where my body is either tired or thirsty. So I try drinking some water and then I go to bed. If I do end up staying up, that's when I eat because I'm probably just tired. I had a couple nights this week that didn't go well because I had stayed up too late. We were watching a movie and I should have gone to bed, but instead I had some ice cream. So it was just like one of those things where I was aware of it when it was happening. So that was good.
Yeah, that's a good point. I do that too. Like lately I've been doing the same thing where basically like I will just be hungry and I'll be like, well, I just need to go to bed because I'm hungry. Like
one more thing that's really helping me, especially if like you have a sweet tooth like I do, beach bars are life. Like if I can plan and know that I've got a beach bar in my near future, like I'm not going to go crazy with ice cream or a chocolate bar or anything like that. Like I'm going to have that and I'm going to track it. I'm going to fit it as my half yellow, half red, my teaspoon. Some days are double beach bar days. But like, I mean, it's at least I know that if I have a snack accident, it's not the worst thing in the world, so beach bars.
Yes, that's a great point. And I mean, so the funny thing is something that has been a blessing that I thought was going to be the worst thing on the planet when it started to happen is I became lactose intolerant about 2 years ago. And my go-to for, emotional eating used to be chocolate 100% of the time. And now I feel crappy when I have chocolate. And so it's almost like it's a blessing in disguise.
That is, yes, it is.
And ice cream too. I used to have a bowl of ice cream and peanut butter every night. I mean, like vanilla ice cream with peanut butter was like my favorite thing on the planet. And now
you really do put peanut butter on everything, don't you?
Yeah.
Everything. My husband today was like, where's the peanut butter gone? He's like, I'm not even eating it. And I'm like, I don't know.
That's so funny.
It goes on everything. I listened to a podcast called the Life Coach School podcast with Brooke Castillo. So I went through because I know she talks about, because she's a life coach, psychologist, and she really got into this as a weight loss and alcohol recovery coach. And so she has a lot of episodes about eating and drinking and how it fits into psychology and how we use it as a reward. So I wrote down a couple of episodes that I thought might be helpful. Episode 71 is called Weight Loss and Hunger. That's a good one. And then episodes 129 is Weight Loss and Overeating Tools Part 1. And then episode 131 is Weight Loss and Overeating Tools Part 2. And those are really, really good episodes, specifically for this. And like every episode that she does, like you don't think it applies to your life when you read the topic and then you're like, oh my God, she's like talking directly to me and about me. She's amazing. So I would check that out. If you haven't already, I would recommend actually, like you can listen to those episodes, but I would recommend listening to like the first 20 podcast episodes in a row because she covers, like she sets some ground rules, but like she gives you some information about like what a lot of her future episodes build off of. And just to have that base knowledge before you listen to some of the later episodes is really, really helpful. But seriously, like she digs deep into some stuff and I'm just like, oh my God, that's me. I need to work on that. So like, if you need a reality check about like what you need to do with your life, she's good.
Who doesn't need that?
Right. I know. So again, that's called the Life Coach School podcast with Brooke Castillo. So those are really, really good episodes. I was going to say something about emotional eating. And I think Autumn touches on this a little bit in the videos, but emotional eating can be either positive or negative emotions. I know for me as a mom, like a lot of times it's a negative emotion when I'm just like freaking done and I'm like, give me some chocolate, just to kind of like, it's like you put something in your mouth to try and like cover up the emotion that you're feeling. And that's what emotional eating is. It's when you you are trying to, and there's a like a psychological term for it where it's like, oh, it's called buffering. Like you're trying to like buffer this feeling that you're having. And so like you eat, or turn on the TV, or you start scrolling Facebook, or you start rage cleaning, or you go and you're busy and you start working. Like all of those things are buffering. But a lot of people turn to food, and and it can be, they expect a reward from the food, which in the moment, yes, you get the reward, but then you feel even worse because after you've eaten, a sleeve of Oreos, you realize, now I feel bad because I feel guilty and I still have that feeling that I started with. And now I've just blown my whole diet. So like medicating with food, and same thing with alcohol too. Like if that's something that you turn to, it has, effects beyond what you just put into your body. But there are some tools that you can use to, figure out what makes you feel better than that. And so, like, of course, I would say go exercise if you have the time. Like, if you're really like, like, go do a quarter force workout, or go do like Fight Club from Morning Meltdown 100 and just like get it out. So like, or do some yoga if you're just like, if you're wound up tight and you're stressed out. Like meditation and yoga are really great tools. Other things that I've found lately, and especially in summer for me, is like just get outside, go to the garden. Like I just go out and literally I just like pull weeds in the garden. Call a friend, call your mom, call your sister, talk to somebody. This is something I've learned from Brene Brown actually, is like, when you're feeling those like big kind of heavy emotions. So like she talks about shame because she's a shame researcher. But when you're feeling shame, the emotion of shame wants you to hide it. And when you talk about it and you shed light on it, it disappears and goes away. And that's an emotion I think that some people they have, but they don't know what it is. And it's one of those things that makes people just want to like eat and buffer. But something that if you can talk to somebody and get it out there and just like get another perspective on it, that helps a ton. And that's something that's going to make you feel better. It's going to give you those better communication skills rather than just like food. And then like I take a bath. That's another thing that I do if I have, obviously if I'm at work, that's not going to work, but
Without bringing wine into the tub with you.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. My thing has been like face mask, and I put on like, I have an app, it's a meditation app, but it has like meditation music. So I've got like the bamboo fountain.
Lana, I'm going to jump onto Tony's call.
Yes, great idea. Okay. Thank you. Oh, wait. Yep. Hold on. Wait. Picture. Okay, everybody ready? Okay, wave. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for helping on.
Thank you.
Bye.
Enjoy.
Talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
So like those are the, Kelly, are you still here?
Oh, I was going to go jump on that call too because I wasn't there last week. I'm sorry. I thought we were just ending all together.
Well, I will finish off the recording.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Have a great evening.
You too.
Okay, so basically like those are the couple of tips that I have as far as like emotional eating and boredom eating. And boredom eating is another really, really hard one. And that's one that I struggle with a lot, like at work, because I don't love my day job, and I've noticed a pattern in myself. So the important thing is to be able to recognize like what are your triggers and what are your patterns. My triggers for me are so like at work, in the morning it would just be like it's a little bit slower for me in the morning, and I do a lot of desk work in the morning. And so I would literally just get bored. And I'm like, what can I do to make this more interesting? Well, food sounds like a good idea. And so knowing that that was a thing for me, what I have started doing is I actually kind of rearranged my containers. And so I'm doing time nutrition. And so what I do is I eat most of my meals actually like before lunch. Like if you look at my day, it is totally front loaded with all of my meals early in the morning and during the day. So like I get up at 5 and I have, a big meal right before I work out. Then I work out, then I have my recovery or my recover and my fruit per the time nutrition plan. Then like 8:30 a.m. I have another big meal, which is my post-workout meal, which is a red container, green container, yellow container, and a teaspoon. And then like 2.5 hours later, so sometime around like 11:30, I will have, I've adjusted my containers a little bit, like, so I don't specifically follow the containers that Autumn puts for the time nutrition, but it's helping me stay on track better. So I'm okay with it. So what I'll have is, my second fruit, or I'll have a fruit, and then I'll have a vegetable, a teaspoon, and a protein. And then, and that's all like right around 11:30. Then I come home for a period of time, and then I bring a shake back with me to work. So then I'll do avocado toast and a shake like mid afternoon. And then dinner, the only thing I have is a vegetable and a teaspoon. And for me, that helps me alleviate the boredom eating, because that's where I noticed I was getting all of my calories. And it would be like, I would go to the snack cabinet, which is like candy. And so I would eat like fruit snacks all day, which are like 100-calorie packs of pure sugar and food coloring. So not a great choice. Or I'd go and like get a Cliff Bar, which is like 200 calories of like dense carbs. And that was all really bad. So what I did is basically, and we kind of talked about this at the beginning, which is like, you want to crowd out the bad stuff with the good stuff. And so that's essentially what I did, is I just crowded it out. And then I knew that I had a meal coming up, and like Kelly was saying, at a certain time, I knew I was going to eat again. And so that kind of kept me going, and I'd keep myself busy, and I would, wait until my next meal, which I knew was going to be big, and I knew it was going to be filling. And then in the afternoon, for me, like I'm busier in the afternoon, like I'm up moving around doing things at work, and and then I'm running around, I pick up Garrett, we come home, like I'm doing stuff at home, and I'm not going to be bored in the afternoon. And so that's what works for me. So one thing that I can recommend is rearrange your containers. Like if there's a period of time during the day that consistently at that period of time, or that like couple of hours, you find yourself boredom eating or snacking, make sure that you are full. Make sure that you have eaten your containers. Make sure that you're filling up on your green containers and your, healthy fats and your proteins that are going to keep you full longer, and pick foods from the container list that are filling and satisfying. So like squashes are really filling in the green containers, kale, collards, like if you steam those, they're heavy, dense, fibrous. They keep you full for a really long time. It takes longer to move through your system, and so it doesn't trigger your system as quickly that you are hungry. And pay attention to those cues. And that's really helped me with the boredom aspect of it. So that's what I got for boredom eating and emotional eating. So when you guys watch this replay, I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, make sure that I'll just post this. Obviously, you're going to see it anyway. I don't need to tell you how I'm going to post it in the group. But ask questions in the comments section if you have any questions. And we will do this again next week. So I'm excited, you guys, and I can't wait to see you all next week. Have a great night.